everybody, it's Kenny K here again, and on vacation, but I still wanted to do some reviews because I still saw a few horror movies that I wanted to review. The problem is I don't have the proper audio with me, so you might have to crank your audio up to the max to hear what I'm saying, so sorry for that. Well, I wanted to talk about The Dorm That Dripped Blood, 1982. Basically, this is a college student movie. I mean, these were college students who only filmed in the weekends, and during the week they went to school. The story is about a group of grad students who have to inventory the entire dorm rooms because they're getting demolished. But everything that can get sold off, they have to put on an inventory list. Now, the dorms, now you have to. This movie is pretty good. I have to say it's good. I'm actually giving it a six, probably a six. Which why? Because you've got extremely good and really violent gore. You've got a very isolated. The dorms are really isolated, dark hallways, and it looks like you've got these two high-rise buildings, and they're like in no man's land. You know what I mean? Nothing is surrounding them. You don't have houses. You just have trees and sand. It looks like it's put in the middle of nowhere, and you get that feeling of isolation, and that works in their favor. Um, Also, the acting isn't bad. The acting isn't bad. Um, you've got a few red herrings that are trying to give you. They try to give you that to think that's the killer. For example, you've got this homeless guy who has Krusty's hair day, Krusty the Clown's hair day on a bad hair day, like these twizzles, like big ass afro with a bald spot here. You've got the scrap metal guy who's also into the main girl of the movie. Sorry for the name, Hannah, I think her name was or something. And the thing is that he's like almost, when they meet each other, they had the deal of his boys were gonna pick up the shelves, the closets, and things like that. But he's immediately, rubbing his dick almost against her, and it's almost like, oh, okay, I missed her. I mean, and he's also he's a filthy pervert because he basically is sitting there with, I shit you not, with a woman in bed. I'm guessing his girlfriend or his wife or whatever, and he's just calling at 2 o'clock in the night. He's calling the grad student, and he's asking her for a date. 2 o'clock in the morning. And the other one's getting out of bed. Oh, what are you doing? He said, go back to your bed. Go back to your bed. So what do you think? A few beers, talking about college, I, I, thought, I thought to myself, okay, what a sleazebag, really sleazebag, But one recognizable face in this movie is Daphne Zuniga from The Initiation, a slasher movie, and of course Spaceballs. She's also in this movie. I think it's her first movie. The only shame about they were initially with 5 people, 6 people, if you count the janitor. Yeah, 6 people. But the problem is Daphne Zuniga had to go home, and her parents are waiting for her. But the killer decides to kill Daphne Zuniga's parents. One, he slices, no, doesn't slice the throat, but he uses steel wire to, you know, suffocate somebody. But it's the blades are sharp, and I mean the wire is sharp, so the blood is coming through. Then he kills the dad with a fucking baseball bat with spikes on, and he's hitting him constantly on the fucking head, and you see that. And then the Daphne Zuniga's character, she falls down, she collapses, she faints, and he sets the car in drive back, and the car drives over her head, and you hear her head squashing like a melon. You see the blood flowing on the floor. Don't see the head though. But it's a ruthless killer because the movie starts out with a grad student who's being chased by somebody, and the killer takes him, and the killer basically takes his hand, takes this knife, and cleaves his hands with the knife. It's a pretty fucked up guy. Now, this movie was actually a big success in the United States of America and worldwide. In the UK, it made the infamous Video Nasties list because one kill, the janitor. The janitor gets killed by the drill kill. The killer uses a driller, and he just, drills the back of his head, and you see everything spatter. Like I said, practical effects with zero budget. I mean, how the fuck did they do? I mean, they were students of filmmaking, so that's their experience they had. But I mean, damn man, that looked cool and that looked gnarly, and that was the reason why it made the Nasties, the UK Video Nasties list. But that, there's this. Okay, so you've got good practical effects. So you've got cool kills. You've got cool environment. Although the environment didn't look like dormitories, they look like social housing, social projects or something like that. I mean, like this gray industrial block, 15 stories high. Weird, yeah. But that made it also scary in a way, because it looked scary. And there are only 4 people because Daphne Zuniga left. They don't know where she is. The killer took her in a car from the parents and drove her away. So the janitor is gone. And there's this point that they see the vagrant popping up here and there. And then you've got 2 guys. I think it's Archie or something. You got 2 guys. You got the bigger guy, the stronger guy, and you got the funny guy. And the funny guy, he's trying to prove himself, and he's constantly, when he sees him, he runs after him and says, if you can't do that, if I see you one more time, you're gonna be in big trouble in here. And then your guy says, leave him be. He knows, no, we don't, leave him be, he says. And you immediately feel some tension between these 2 guys. So what happened, the thing with this movie is you have the first part that has a lot of killings, 4 to be exact, and then you have the second part, which only has one killing, one real cool kill, the drill kill. And you have your third part. The third part is basically who the killer is. Now, the killer is this guy, the funny guy, Archie. This is a spoiler alert, sorry, it's a movie from 1982. Why I'm saying this is at some point, the other guy goes up the stairs, the stronger, bigger guy, and he gets the power is shut down, and he gets this flashlight in his face, and he can't see shit, and then he gets slashed by a machete, and you see the arm falling off and shit like that, and then you hear him knocking on the door. He goes downstairs with, I think her name is Patsy or something. He goes downstairs to look for the guy. And the weird thing is, and this is the moment we don't know if he's the killer yet. So he's constantly scaring her and doing stupid shit and being funny. And that's already an indicator that there's something wrong with this dude, right? And then, of course, we see that we don't see him that he's a killer yet, because he puts the girl in this giant tub of boiling water and closes the lid so she can't get out. Then you have the vagrant. Now, the vagrant, what does he do? He slams the funny guy, and he takes, I think her name was Donna or something, the final girl. He takes her with her and says, "You need to come with me." But you have to understand, he has these weird eyes, like, and that fluffy weird hair with that bald patch here, but really like Krusty the fucking Clown. "You got to come with me." And he says that in this way. "He's the killer. He's gonna kill us." But he never really says that guy is the killer. He basically, I think he says one time, "I know who the killer is." I think that's what he said. "We got to get the hell out of here. Let me take you with me." But he's saying that with his teeth, and he sounds like a crazy fucking piece of complete nutcase. I mean, at some point she takes a machete, she finds the body of the tough guy, the bigger guy, all sliced up in pieces. She takes the machete, she hacks in the vagrant's arm, but then he's still following her, and even then the funny guy can't take on the vagrant. That's something that I want to address later on. He can easily defeat the guy, the vagrant, with one arm. So then the final girl, I think she knocks him out, and that's the last we see of him. Yeah, I think so. I think he's not dead. I'm not sure. It didn't look like he was dead. She just smashed him in his head. Maybe he's dead, because I think it was with a wrench that he hit her. He hit him pretty hard on the head. But then the guy says, "Look what we have done. Look," he twists her head really aggressively. "Look what we have done. We have accomplished this. Don't you see? I've been the killer all along." So, yeah, okay. So then the guy who basically the sleazeball, the junkyard guy, he comes to the dormitory. He's starting to fight with. First, there's this long ass cat and mouse game, 15 minutes long, and then you have the fight between him, the killer, and the junkyard guy. Now you have to understand that a vagrant that's probably hungry, could beat the killer's ass with one arm. the fucking junkyard guy is almost manhandled by this rather small boy who's the killer. And then in the end, the police arrives. I and I actually don't know how the police arrived, because the fact for the matter was that the lines were cut, and so the police is he's standing. So eventually, the scrap metal guy took him down, and he's standing over him with a knife, and the cops are saying, "Put the knife down. Put your hands in the air. He's the killer. He's the fucking killer. Yeah, put your hands in the fucking air, or we're gonna shoot your ass. Now, he's the fucking killer." And then the killer says, "I'm gonna fucking kill you. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill you." And then I don't understand what he's doing there. He attacks him with the knife. Of course, he gets lured in by the son of a bitch, and the cops kill him. And then, of course, the killer is acting all, "Oh, yeah, everything is okay. My head it's okay." And now how the movie ends, and this is just a complete downer. So he takes the girl, which he was in love with. I don't know if I mentioned that he was in love with her. That's why he killed everybody. Still, I don't understand why he killed that grad student in the beginning. Maybe he flirted with her, but why did the janitor? I think everybody had to go because he wanted to vanish and that nobody could trace his steps, But and I thought the hobo, like I said, the guy with I'm calling him Krusty the Clown. Bennett was his name. He wasn't dead yet. He wasn't dead. I'm sure of it. But then he picks up the girl, and he goes to the furnace. Now I'm not sure what he does. Does he put her in the furnace? Because we see black clouds coming out of the furnace. The cops are smelling the furnace. They're smelling the what's coming out of the chimney, and they say, "Is it normal that it stinks so hard?" Now I'm not sure if the killer both jumped in the furnace because he lost his love and he wanted to kill himself too, or he just put the girl in. Either way, an anticlimactic ending, right? And that's how the movie ends. Instead of that stupid hillbilly redneck fucking scrap metal, Bobby Lee was his name. He's the fucking killer. "Oh yeah, you want to get out of me? You want to go out with me? Talk about college and shit. 2 o'clock in the morning. But I got my wife, my fuck buddy there in his bed, and and she says like after the phone call he says, I'm going out, and that's when he goes to the dormitory, and to basically stalk. He's almost as crazy and creepy as the real killer. I think the killer's name was Archie, and the woman shows her tits. "Why don't you come back to bed? Just go back to bed." It's okay. Okay. So the guy he goes to the dormitory, but what the movie lacks is there were a lot of filler moments, a lot of dull moments. Like, you've got a lot of POV shots of the killer that they used. They used Halloween and Friday the 13th. They used a lot of that to basically make their movie, and they use it too much, like a killer is roaming around this patch of dirt outside, then the killer is roaming around in the hallways doing nothing, and there's a lot of these scenes like that where the killer is just roaming about, and it doesn't really go anywhere. And the characters, there are moments that they try to flesh out the characters, especially the four, the two guys and the two girls. Which one of them is a killer, of course. And that's okay, but there's a lot of useless scenes in the movie, and it gets a little bit boring at times. But when the killing happens, and the killing happens the most in the first part, and I would say the second part, not the second part you have the most killings, but you do have the coolest kill in the second part. The last part is basically constantly the Krusty the Clown vagrant running after the final girl, saying, "Come with me." I mean, who wants to go with that, right? Instead of saying, "He's the killer, he's killing everybody." So instead of and being a little bit calmer, a little bit chilled down, chillax. No, he's with those wide eyes like he's snoring a line of coke. And then you have a cat and mouse game between the killer and the girl. It takes like 15 minutes long. And then you have the final fight between the sleazebag Billy Joe. What is that? I think his name was Billy Joe, scrap metal, salesman. That eventually goes sideways, and yeah, and that's the movie. So I'm giving the movie I'm gonna give the movie I want to give the movie a 5.5, but because of the effort that these guys put in, only in the weekends, and I mean, probably most of the money went to Daphne Zuniga, if she even got any money, if she even wanted any money. I'm giving it a 6. It's one of those slashers you should scratch off your slasher list, and you really should see. So The Dorm That Dread Blood from 1982. Videos in the UK Video Nasties list for one kill. So subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.